Hello students, welcome to our English lesson. Today we are going to do a writing activity. In this activity you are going to learn how to write a story. But first, let's have a look at this example. When Amy finished reading the email, she thought, "It can't be true." She had just received an invitation to meet the Prime Minister. A few months ago, Amy had entered a competition. In the competition, she had to say 10 things that she would do if she were the Prime Minister. The prize was the chance to meet the actual Prime Minister at his office at his official residence at 10 Downing Street and discuss her ideas. Amy had always wanted to share her ideas with somebody important, so she wrote them down carefully and set them off. At first, Amy didn't believe that she had won. She thought the email must have been a mistake or a joke. But an hour later, she received an official telephone call giving her details about her visit to 10 Downing Street, which was next Wednesday. Surely this wasn't a joke now. On Wednesday, after school, Amy was waiting nervously at home when a big black car arrived. Excitedly, all of her neighbors were watching and wondering what was happening and where she was going. Amy jumped in the car and off she went. After about 40 minutes, they arrived at 10 Downing Street. Suddenly, the Prime Minister came out to meet Amy, as if she was an important head of state. They spoke for 2 hours. By the end, Amy had convinced the Prime Minister to put into practice some of her ideas to help young people. Amy used to dream of a moment like this, and now it had actually come true. Well, after reading the story, we have 3 questions to see how well we understood the general ideas. First question, what did Amy win and how? Well, according to the story, she won an invitation to meet the Prime Minister. And how? Well, she had entered a competition. Now, question number 2. Where exactly did Amy have to go and how? She had to go to 10 Downing Street, where the PM's official residence is. A car picked her up from home. And question 3. How do you think Amy felt at the end of the story? She probably felt happy for meeting the Prime Minister and proud of herself for convincing him to put into practice some of her ideas. Now let's have a look at some examples of useful words to write a story. So if we want to say when things happened, we can use, for example, last weekend, 2 weeks ago, on Friday, on Saturday night. Also, we can use linkers. Linkers are useful to explain the sequence of events. At first, first of all, next, then, after that, later, suddenly, finally, or in the end. You can see in red and blue examples of these expressions all over this test. Now let's pay attention to the grammar. Narrative tenses. We have the past simple, past continuous, past perfect, used to, and finally must, may, might, and can't have. Now in red, we have all the verbs in the past simple form that have been used to tell the main events and actions in the story. Now, in orange, we have examples of past continuous. We use the past continuous to describe scenes, to say what activity was in progress, when another interrupted it. Now in green, we have examples of past perfect. We use it for the background of the story to talk about actions that happened before other actions in the past. Now in pink, we have an example of used to. We use it to talk about past habits, things that happened in the past but not anymore. And finally, in blue, we have some examples of modal verbs. We use these modal verbs to make speculations or deductions about what happened. Now, it's your turn. You have to write a story which begins. When I finished reading the email, I thought, it can't be true. Now, use narrative tenses carefully and include words that explain when or in what order events happened. You can use between 120 and 150 words. I'm sure you're gonna be able to write a fantastic story. See you soon!